A quick recap. I hope you had fun. I had fun. Remember, protection in boxing, even though we talked about in a separate way, right? We talked about the 5 different ways in protecting yourself. Let's say basically 5 variances from the protection itself. They cannot work individually. They should work at all time, all together. But to learn it, we have to talk about them separately. So you get moves right, but you cannot rely only on one form of protecting yourself. Recap those 5 variances of protecting or protection from the fundamental pillar. Number 1 are, first of all, block punches at all time. Make sure your hands are at all time close to your body, close to your head, unless otherwise you are deciding. Your hands are not all over the place for whatever reason. Your hands should be where they should be. If you command them to block a punch before it arrives, it's because you commanded it, not because of you started to, in a panic way, to bring your hands in front of you and try to catch punches. That is the biggest mistake you can commit. Okay, so make sure your hands in the first place are with you at all time for various reasons. They will protect you, but also when you need to fire back, you'll be loaded, you'll be fully loaded, and you'll be able to fire back with your own punches with maximum speed, precision, and power possible. And that is generated, and we will talk about during the next fundamental pillar, which is fundamental pillar number 3, the punches. We will talk about in more depth about the importance of generating the punches from your cage rib, right, from close to your body. And guess what? It serves you as a good protection mechanism, but also will serve you to punch. So it's another good reason to keep your hands as close as possible. However, only taking punches to your head is not a good idea. You need to start thinking into moving your upper body in certain directions, certain angles that will maximize your protection, but also will put you in a position where you can capitalize on your opponent's mistakes and openings that he or she will create while trying to punch you, to punish you. Okay, that those movements are variance number 2, it's punch sliding. Okay, so you slide the punches. Usually works best for the straight punching group, which we will talk about in a moment. For uppercuts, also works more or less okay. You can use the same sliding mechanism to slide uppercuts. For hooks, which tend to be very powerful, both of them, and is the most common punching group in especially when people really try to hurt you. They're not really technical, but this is what I mean, the hooks, right? When people go around the house and try to hit you with all the force, the best defense is ducking, punch ducking, variance number 3. Variance number 4 is when I am actually being able up front, before the punch even is generated, to read what my opponent is doing and go there and try to deflect the punches, block, deflect at the same time. So it's the idea behind is that before they even arrive, you can take them out. It's a very difficult and very dangerous game to play. The risk mitigation there is very high. So make sure that if you use at a certain point in time, punch deflecting is not too much, because you can overexpose yourself. I showed you what can happen is you can deflect a couple of punches, but if your opponent is smart and knows what he's doing, it will start throwing looping hooks, which is kind of a little jump over your guard. And guess what? If you try to cancel them before even they arrive, the punches I mean, you'll be all open. And that is something you have to consider. Best is to be protected or to be ready to take the punches at all time. And the further your hands are away from your head, the more exposed you are. Rule of thumb. Last but not the least, variance number 5, which I prefer by far, is to stay as much as I can disengaged from the punching distance and only be there for brief amounts of times, maybe about 10 to 20% of the entire sparring session or fight. The rest of the time is to be outside, make my readings, because remember, striking and boxing, it's all about distance management. And why is that so important? Is because the person that will best judge the distance and will stay outside the striking range and will only enter to inflict damage by using the right ducking, the right punch sliding at the right moment, at the right time, the right timing, right? That is the person that will win the fight, short term or long term, it doesn't matter. It's the person that will be more economical, will gas itself less, of course, and is the person that has all the chances in the world to win that fight or that sparring. Because it's staying outside of the danger. Staying outside of the danger is priority number 1. We talk about least, but this is actually the most important. Nevertheless, you will misjudge the distance. Your opponent will sometimes take the risk and put extra pressure, and they may get away, so you may not have time to judge the fact that they want to get in, so you can stop them with the right punch or with the right ducking. So that's the reason you have to stay ready to take 1 or 2 blows at all time. Those are the most important things I wanted to talk with you in this pillar, fundamental pillar number 2. Now it's time to talk about what we've all been waiting for, is punches. All the punches and their correct execution.